Hello there. I'm here with Dania Al-Tamimi from England. She is a medical student here at the University of Sofia. It's her 6th year. And today we're talking about Dania's life here and what she learned about Bulgaria and what she really loves about it.
So this is going back actually to 2014, so 6 years ago now. And I initially applied to do biomedical science in a university in England, but I decided that it wasn't for me because I didn't want to sacrifice 3 years of my life doing a degree which just wasn't what I wanted to do, because I always knew I wanted to study medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of researched a bit, and I knew about students going abroad. I knew about Prague as being quite a popular choice for students to go abroad to study medicine. But actually at the time my brother was already in Bulgaria. It did come up on a Google search that there was a Medical University Sofia and they accepted international students. So it sort of just clicked that my brother was here in Sofia, there's an opportunity to study medicine here in Sofia as well, and I just last minute made the decision to fly over and see how it would be. So I did all the sort of translation process and documents and things like that, and got accepted into the university and started in 2014. And it actually worked out really nicely because there was a lot of students already from the UK here. So it sort of became a home away from home quite quickly. And I feel like that helped the integration quite a lot. It also helped a bit of like the language barrier, because I could speak to people in English and they would understand without any problems. Culturally as well, we sort of all just bonded. So yeah, that's what brought me to Sofia, and I've stayed here ever since then. There's such a diverse community at the university, and I didn't actually expect it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of students from Greece, a lot of students from Germany, a lot of students from France, a lot of students from Spain, a lot of students from Turkey, a lot of students from Italy as well. So across Europe.
Mm-hmm.
What does tend to happen is sort of like the communities and the students from each other's country will sort of group together a bit.
Right.
Sort of the same way I do with the UK students, purely because it's sort of like your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You all speak the same language and you have the same sort of like cultural similarities. But what we do is, especially in my year, is we all get taught together, and we're sort of like all mixed together, so we integrate a lot.
How is the education system here in Bulgaria? How is it different from what you're used to? What is good, what is bad here?
So it's quite different. One of the big differences I found was the way that they examine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how it is in other medical universities or universities generally in Bulgaria, so I can only really speak for my own.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they examine is orally.
Okay.
So I'm very used to written exams
Mm-hmm.
throughout GCSEs and A-levels back in the UK, whereas here all the exams are oral, apart from a few where it's multiple choice. But you'll basically have a syllabus, and off that syllabus you'll study from it, and you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5 points at random from that syllabus in your exam. I also feel like here you're very much in control of your own studies. I've not been to university in England, I've only been to university here, but it is very much self-sufficient learning. I think it is generally like that in university anyway. Obviously we have lectures and we have seminars and we have practicals. Practicals being the hands-on experience with the patients, and then seminars being more of a sit-down interactive with the assistant professor, and then lectures being the typical lecture format in a lecture theatre. But I think it's been really great in Sofia, because I feel like, especially in the clinical years, which are 4th to 6th, we have direct patient contact, and we're able to sort of assess the patients, see them, sort of do small procedures on them, like take their bloods or do a cannula or take their blood pressure. And that's really great, because at the end of the day you learn medicine through patient contacts, not really through a textbook. There's a lot of students' conferences that are organised by the Medical University students, like Bulgarian students and also international students. And there's also conferences abroad as well. So I've been to a conference in Berlin where I presented some research in dermatology, because I really, really love that specialty and enjoyed it during my studies. There was also one that I presented in Bulgaria, in Sofia, and that was gastroenterology, and also one in Pleven, because there's a medical university in Pleven. So there, I've also presented work in immunology as well. I've also gotten involved with charity work, because I think that it's important to give back. I've obviously been in Bulgaria for a long time now, and I've sort of become very accustomed to the culture here and the lifestyle, and I feel like there's a lot that we, as coming from a Western country, can give back to some of the good communities here. And there's one that I was particularly passionate about, which is the refugee crisis, which I heard about. And there's a lot of refugees coming from places like Syria and Iraq and Iran. And there's 3 refugee camps in Sofia. And so I started volunteering 2 years ago through CVS-Bulgaria, it's an NGO here. And they have an initiative called Refugee Project. And I'm originally Iraqi, so the languages that I speak is Arabic, English, and obviously now a bit of Bulgarian. So that helps me with the children that I volunteer for at the refugee camp, and I teach them. So once a week I do that as well. I teach them maths and science and help with their homework, and also teach them English language, and just try and develop their skills and try and sort of be a positive influence on them, maybe sort of like a role model as well in a way, because they are young. So that's really fulfilling, and I've really enjoyed that. There's also Medical Students on a Mission, which is a charity founded by medical students in Plovdiv, in Medical University of Plovdiv, and that's also an NGO, legalised NGO in Bulgaria. And we primarily aid sort of developing countries, and we provide medical primary care to those which don't really have access to it. So we pick a particular screening project that we want to do. So for example, if we want to screen for any eye diseases, we'll go through like an ophthalmology screening program, and we'll assess their visual acuity. And we've also provided them with like glasses or goggles to help in the work field. That also takes place in Bulgaria and abroad. So there's been camps in the south of Bulgaria, in Zlatograd, where we did oncohematological screening for any blood disorders. We've also been to Nepal over the summer camps, where we did the ophthalmology screening. Sri Lanka has also been a camp, and upcoming is Nigeria. And there's also Medipath, which is another project. That's something which is more personal, because I co-founded that with a colleague of mine at university, and a doctor that we actually bumped into, who's an emergency medicine resident who works in New Jersey. Just happened to bump into each other, and we came up with this idea of creating a conference for students on emergency medicine, because it's such a crucial field of medicine, which even if you're out and about and you're not in a hospital setting, if you know your emergency medicine skills in any situation, you can use that. So yeah, that's been the focus of that. That's been running now for again 2 years, and we did a symposium last year, and then we're organising another symposium this year in October. I think one of the negatives that did surprise me when I first came, bear in mind this is back in 2014, was the fact that there weren't the culture in Sofia and in Bulgaria generally wasn't very diverse. So out and about outside of the university, there weren't many sort of like different cultures. So I feel like that was it wasn't so much of an issue for me, unfortunately, but I do feel like it was difficult for like my friend who's Nigerian. But I think over the years since I've been here, there's definitely been a shift in a positive way. And there's been a lot more integration of different cultures, and a lot more sort of like welcoming of other cultures here in Sofia. So I definitely feel like that's a negative that's sort of improving, and it's becoming a lot more positive.
So any piece of advice that you would give to newcoming students here?
Yeah, I would definitely say if you're coming to Sofia to be open-minded and optimistic and make the most of the opportunity, because I feel like there's a lot to do. There's a lot of ways that you can set things up in terms of society through the university, in terms of organisations outside of the university. So I definitely feel like if you have a particular interest or a particular hobby, you can definitely explore that freely in Sofia, and make the most of your experience. And also in terms of the language, I think it's really important through the university to learn the language, and they teach you for 3 years Bulgarian lessons, and I think that's a great skill to learn as well.
Well, thank you for coming here and share this Sunday afternoon with us.
Thank you for
it's
having
amazing
me.
that we can learn so much about being a student here.
Thank you.